he's a below-average three-point shooter.
Agreed. He's as a superstar, he's an average free throw shooter. He's never been a clutch. He's a choker when it comes to the free throw line. LeBron James actually does. And Skip Bayless has been on this for years, for more than 10 plus years, right? That in late game situations, LeBron James runs from the free throw line. You know, he prefers not to be at the free throw line with the game on the line. And Shannon and Stephen A. Smith even tried to make up a lie for LeBron James to say the same thing. Like, well, LeBron James has always had an issue. That doesn't mean that he's a choker. His entire career, he's had an issue with hitting those type of free throws. Well, if he's a certain type of free throw shooter, you know, throughout the first three quarters, and in the fourth quarter, that goes to show that he's choking, that he's a choker. He's not. That's a glaring issue in his game. You understand? So, you know, once again, you got to be able to view these people in proper perspective. You understand? Especially when it's certain holes in your game that no one would ever dare Michael Jordan in a finals. In the finals, no one would ever lay off Michael Jordan 5 feet and dare him to shoot jump shots, mid-range shots. That wouldn't happen. LeBron James, when he was on the Miami Heat in 2013, that year that they beat the Spurs, where they damn near almost lost, and he got lucky because of Ray Allen. But when they almost lost, right, Greg Popovich's game plan was to sag off of LeBron and dare him to shoot. Give him 7 feet and dare him to shoot. You understand? You think that would have happened to Michael Jordan, to Larry Bird, to Magic Johnson, to Steph Curry, to Kevin Durant, to even the Kobe Bryants? Even though LeBron James is greater than Kobe Bryant.
35%. Well, this is the facts. These are what you gloss over. He is a pathetic free throw shooter by superstar standards at 73%.
Agreed.
Career, and he obviously clearly runs from the late game free throw line where
exactly. And Skip is probably going to say something that I also said a little bit earlier. You know, with him running from the free throw line late game, right? We see that he mentioned that, but another thing with LeBron James and running from the free throw line, he's viewed as being, this is one thing that hurts LeBron James. LeBron James is a clutch player. All right, LeBron James doesn't get enough credit for being as clutch as he is, but he's not as clutch as people like to make him out to see. As the Shannon Sharps and the Nick Wrights and the media like to make him out to see. So clutch just isn't, you being able to make a free throw at the end of a game. Clutch is also, your ability to keep a game out of reach. You understand? If you have a 10-point lead with 2.5 minutes left or 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left, clutch is also your ability to protect the ball and maintain that lead and not allow them to come back. You have a 12-point lead, or you had a 12-point lead. They went on a 6-0 run, and now you have an opportunity to make a three, or to make a jump shot, and you miss it. Now that gives them a lot more confidence to be able to go down, make a shot. Now it's a 2-possession game. Or if they go down and make a three, now it's a 1-possession game. You understand? So clutch just isn't, your ability to hit free throws and, under 2 minutes, being able to hit shots. It's being able to close out and finish games strong as well. And being able to stop teams, too, from building momentum.
He is statistically the worst star late-game free throw shooter ever.
He's pathetic at shooting the three, but he's better than Kobe and Jordan. How does that work?
Well, the reason why he's a better three-point, he's not a better three-point shooter. Just statistically, he is, because LeBron James, he's played a little bit further into the era with three-point shots. Where it was a lot more prevalent due to Steph Curry. So LeBron James has had the benefit to be able to work on that jump shot as much. Kobe Bryant just shot far too much. I wouldn't say that LeBron James was a better three-point shooter, but when you look at the numbers, yeah, LeBron James was a better three-point shooter. When you look at the numbers, Kobe was a phenomenal scorer, and it was phenomenal. But he had a pretty low IQ when it came to the game. And he made a lot of bad decisions. and he shot far too much. So that's the reason why he has a better 3-point shooting percentage than Kobe Bryant. But the thing is, with Michael Jordan, the 3-point line, the 3-point shot wasn't as prevalent as it is today. You understand? Michael Jordan, tell me why if LeBron James is a better 3-point shooter than Michael Jordan, then why is it that LeBron James has never had a 3-point season shooting as high as a percentage as Michael Jordan's highest? You understand? So, we can nitpick at that, but back in the 80s and in the 90s, the 3-point shot wasn't as prevalent, nowhere near as prevalent as it was today. You understand? So that's Shannon Sharp trying to lie and skew the numbers.
Better than Jordan because they didn't emphasize
But
it.
Skip, the 3-point line has been in since 1979. So there's never a year that Michael Jordan played in the NBA that the 3-point line was not there.
They didn't emphasize it. Jordan won 10 scoring titles to
Agreed. And that's a wonderful rebuttal that you have there, Skip. And a lot of people don't even like to take that into consideration. You understand? LeBron James is a phenomenal scorer. He's a wonderful scorer up the basketball. He's a greater scorer than he is anything else. You understand? But he only has 2 scoring titles, 1 scoring title. And that's with the 3-point shot being as prevalent as it is in today's society. Well, not in today, in today's NBA. So let's keep it in the proper perspective here.
LeBron's won.
Let me ask you a
let's
question.
start with that.
They didn't emphasize it, but Reggie Miller got a better 3-point percentage. So did Larry Bird.
Okay, good. I'll give you that. LeBron's a great 3-point shooter.
I didn't say great.
Okay, so think of all the incidents in his career. Think about all the drama in his career. Let's start with his owner in Cleveland accused him of quitting in his final playoff series, the first go-round in Cleveland.
Yep, and that's the thing. That's not considered. Oh, that's not considered hating on LeBron James. Michael Jordan was never accused of quitting on his team. You understand? Kobe Bryant, more than once, has quit on his team. So we don't even have to go into that. But that's a good point, Skip Brothers. Let's see what Shannon Sharp has to say here.
Against the Boston Celtics.
Skip.
And then members of his camp leaked to ESPN that LeBron had to be sedated for games 4, 5, and 6
So now
against the Celtics. Well, I'm like, what? He had to be sedated? His camp leaked to ESPN that LeBron had to be sedated for games 4, 5, and 6
So now
against the Celtics. Well, I'm like, what? He had to be sedated?
So because hold on. So now I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Because his owner said that he quit.
I'm just saying, did Jordan's owner ever accuse him of quit? Well, no, because nobody ever accused Michael Jordan of
What
quitting.
did Jerry Krause accuse him of?
Nothing.
Being selfish?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so he and Jerry Krause got along great. Okay, go ahead.
Well, again, he hated Krause. Krause didn't hate Michael.
Yeah, I think he did.
He did not. I was there. I covered the team. I knew Jerry Krause very well. I knew Michael very well.
Jerry Krause,
it was a one-way street.
Skip.
Krause was always asking me, why does he hate me?
Skip. Jerry Krause said it was about the organization.
No, wrong
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
So then 2011 first go round with the Miami Heat in the finals. It was the all-time superstar meltdown. Chosen one.
Well, hold on, Skip. In LeBron's defense, right? And this is not me just sticking up for LeBron. This is me pointing out the obvious facts. This is me pointing out the obvious facts of the nature. If LeBron James gets all the hate in the world for them being favored to beat the Mavericks, right? What about that same Mavericks team that same year swept Kobe's Lakers? So do we give Kobe Bryant any flack for getting swept to that team? Remember, Kobe Bryant is allegedly greater than LeBron James. And that was one of the years that they were on crash course to meet in the finals. LeBron James finally held up his part of his end of the deal by going to Miami. And what happened with Kobe Bryant and the Lakers? They got swept by the Mavericks. But we don't hold Kobe Bryant accountable for that. We don't give Kobe Bryant any flack for that. All right? So in LeBron James' defense, that was a superstar meltdown. Of course it was. But what was it for Kobe? I understand that Kobe or that LeBron James didn't play well at all in that finals. At all. Didn't play well is actually kind of an understatement. He choked in that finals. Like, ridiculously, he came up extremely short. But what did Kobe do? We understand LeBron James, it was really Dwayne Wade who was really balling throughout that Maverick series. So at least they were able to win 2 games. What did Kobe Bryant win against those teams? So what was that? Kobe Bryant was also a superstar. Was that also a meltdown of meltdowns?
Why you hate him? So
No,
that's why he hates.
I don't hate him.
No. But that's what he's saying.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's on his resume, and people are saying, "What are you talking about, the GOAT?" And then,
Yeah, I'd agree. LeBron James is not the GOAT. Neither is Kobe Bryant. All right? Do not mention Kobe Bryant and LeBron James in the same, as if they're on the same tier. They're in the same category of greatness, but they're not on the same tier. Superstar, all-time great, but not top 5, not top 10, not Kobe.
Ray Allen just saved his legacy with the greatest clutch shot I have ever seen in Game 6 of 2013.
Hold on. So a teammate doing his job, that's saving his legacy.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, then in 2014, they get blown off the floor of the finals by a record finals margin.
Right.
Well, that never happened to Michael Jordan.
Because-
so people are saying, Shannon, what are you talking about?
So
That's another good point. That has never happened, but it did also happen to Kobe Bryant when he got spanked by damn near 40 points by the Boston Celtics in Game 7. All right, no Game 7 was ever that lopsided in NBA history. In NBA history, okay? So we don't talk about that with Kobe Bryant either.
Jordan won every game that he played. He won every playoff series he was in.
No, but he went 6-0 in the finals.
Skip, they're
See, and the thing is with Shannon Sharp, because he's so emotional and he views things from an emotional perspective, he has to ask things. If LeBron James is viewed as being a threat to Michael Jordan, why don't we compare LeBron James to God? Because what you're doing is asking Michael Jordan to be God. You don't compare Michael Jordan to everybody else. You ask him to be a God-like figure. Did he win every game? Did he win every playoff series? Fuck no. Who has? Who has, Shannon? That's a dumb question. And that's a way to try to change the narrative. All right? And let's see what Skip Bayless has to say about this.
rounds to this. So what happened before 1991? Did they not have finals? Did they not have finals in Washington?
They did. And prior to 1991, Michael Jordan wasn't even in his prime yet. All right? And a lot of the times they say, oh, what happened before Michael Jordan never won a playoff series without Scottie Pippen. You got to understand, man, Michael Jordan's first few years in the league, he didn't have another all-star with him. All right? They were barely making the playoffs at the 8th seed and the 7th seed, so they were always playing the best team in the East or the second best team in the East. All right? So when they finally, in 1991, when they finally got Scottie Pippen, the reason why they won that playoff series wasn't because they had Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year that year. He also won MVP that year. You understand? And Scottie Pippen was coming off the bench. Okay? Scottie Pippen wasn't even in his prime. But Michael Jordan is the only player that when we look back, we expect him to have been perfect. Even though the light in which we view him, Michael Jordan, is, according to a lot of people, the greatest player of all time, it's the reason he is. Yes, he came up short a few times, but for the most part, he's never really came up short. He doesn't have any glaring...
There are rounds to this. So what happened before 1991? Did they not have finals? Did they not have finals in Washington?
Then in 2015, LeBron played the greatest 3 games I've ever seen him play. He can't.
You know what I noticed about Skip Bayless, bro? When Skip Bayless don't even be taking this nigga Shannon Sharp too fucking serious on a lot of these debates, bro. Shannon Sharp be saying some shit, and then Skip Bayless totally ignore and walks right over what the fuck this nigga just said, bro. That shit is fucking hilarious, bro.
that team. Obviously, they had lost Kevin Love, and then they lost Kyrie in overtime in Game 1, and they're up 2-1 with Game 4 in LeBron's house. And go look at what happened. I don't know. Everybody told me he ran out of gas. He hit the wall. Oh, he spends $2 million a year on fitness. I don't know.
Go look at 1989 and 1990 against the Pistons, Michael Jordan, and tell me what happened to him.
Okay.
Well, what happened is that those guys weren't ready. The thing is that went that first series, the Bulls were the only team that was able to beat the Detroit Pistons, even in the finals. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the Detroit Pistons swept the Lakers. If I'm not mistaken, okay, and in the next year, the Bulls won 7 in 1991 or 1990. Okay, and nobody else went that deep with the Detroit Pistons. Those were the only games that the Detroit Pistons lost in those playoff runs was to the Chicago Bulls. All right, and Scottie Pippen wasn't in his prime yet. All right, nor was Michael Jordan. All right, LeBron James was in his prime when he came up short these times. All right, and even though he didn't have Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, he was still up 2-1. I understand that he probably did run out of gas. But when you up 2-1 going back home, man, you got to get the job done. If you're the greatest player of all time, the odds are stacked in your favor. You got to show people why you are the greatest player of all time. You don't just win series that you were favored in, but also when you're not favored. Of course, you're supposed to deliver when you're favored in the series. But even if the odds are stacked against you, that's another reason to show people, why you are who you are. And why they should never count you on again. Why they should never count you out again. So we can give credit to LeBron James and the Cavaliers for coming back down 3-1 of all time, but we can't call that Warriors team the greatest regular season team ever. That Warriors team the greatest team ever assembled, because they lost in the finals. You understand? And why would the Cavaliers even down 3-1 in the first place? All right, that year, going back into that year, they had Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving coming back. They were expected to win the finals that year. All right, so why were they down 3-1 in the first place? And we're not even going to talk about the stimulus package that they received in order for them to be able to come back, with Draymond coming down, Andrew Bogut going down with a debilitated knee injury, Steph Curry, having that knee injury, the MCL sprain, and that neck injury against the Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. Andre Iguodala, would showing up on the not the scouting report, but the injury report with full body spasms. Steph Curry getting ejected and fouling out. Come on, bro.
Well,
but see, you don't want to talk about that. Okay. Skip, they're there.
Well, I'm just showing you. These are so.
Well, he don't have to talk about it, because I'll talk about it. And the thing is, Michael Jordan wasn't in his prime yet. He wasn't expected to get to the finals those 2 years either. So what are you talking about? LeBron James against the Warriors was favored to win those finals, to win that finals.
Debatable, these outcomes where, remember what happened for Game 1 in 2018 at Oracle? He has the game of his life, and then you know what happened? He turns down the last shot.
What about Kevin Durant? Had the game of his life.
We're talking about
exactly, because that's what you try to do.
This topic is about LeBron. We talk about Kevin all the time.
No.
And I don't bring up LeBron. But
no, you guys talk about LeBron James all the time. Stop capping.
I'm just saying, he pouted and he sat over there inside away from his team and he quit. And then we saw him
quit. So did Kevin Durant quit in game?
And that's a good point, because he did quit on his team. LeBron James did quit on his team. You understand? It was only Game 1 of the NBA Finals. LeBron James, after that, gave up. And it was only Game 1 of the Finals. The thing is, when Michael Jordan would come up short in a game, if he'd lose the game, if a game would slip and he missed the last second shot and things of that nature, he'd come back and win the next game. And if not the next game, he'll still come back and win the series. All right, he always redeemed himself. You understand? Rather than going an entire series for allowing one game to determine the entire series, and it was Game 1. You understand? And they still went into overtime, so it's not like they did. It's not like the game was lost. They went into overtime. And Jeff Green had to come tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Come on, bro, what the fuck is you doing, nigga? You the leader, bro. Fuck is wrong with you?" type shit. So let's view that in the proper light, Shannon.
In the overtime game, did he quit?
We're not talking about
that. But I'm saying, no. He's a superstar. You said he quit. You said LeBron James quit.
He actually distanced himself from his team, and then he refused to shoot for the first 2.5 minutes of overtime. And
just like how Kobe Bryant did when he had a 3-1 lead against the Phoenix Suns. Yep. In Game 7, we refused to shoot. Yep, and they blew that 3-1 lead. Yep, agreed.
Fell behind by 5, and then they lost.
But see what you
10.
did? Mm-hmm. You talking about Kevin Durant played a historic game. Mm-hmm. He missed all of his shots. He went 0 for air ball to 3. So what was that? Did he quit on his team?
In overtime.
Did he quit? That was overtime that LeBron James you're talking about. So did Kevin Durant quit?
Was he shooting?
Did he quit?
Heck no.
Okay then. So why did LeBron quit?
His guts out.
What? Okay. So 51-8 did not play his guts out.
How about Game 5 of that ill-fated first-round series this year against Phoenix?
You see what you
Well, what happened? LeBron, they're losing by 30, and he's sitting there, and there's 4.5 minutes left, and he says, you know what? I don't want to associate with you guys. I'm going to walk up the tunnel and leave you guys behind and go to the locker room. It's just debatable.
This is what you do.
It's drama king. It's who he is.
This is what you do.
It's why that happens on Twitter.
This is what you do.
I don't do anything. LeBron's done all this. I couldn't stop any of this.
You take a great person and you take moments in his life. Well, it's like if I take a great ordinary citizen and I say, well, you got a speeding ticket. When I say you flunked the class in 8th grade, what you do is that you take moments out to try to minimize the man's greatness.
Just like how you do with Michael Jordan. Come on, it's the same thing. It's the same tactic that you take, Shannon Sharpe. But the thing is, it's not that Shannon Sharpe is trying to minimalize it. It's the fact that people are trying to blow things up, and Skip Bayless is willing to view things in a proper perspective. All right? He do be hating on LeBron James, and he'll admit it. That's the thing. Skip Bayless will tell you that he's a hater. You know, but he does view LeBron James in a proper perspective most of the time. 85 to 95% of the time. He's on point when it comes to his assessment of LeBron James. You know what I mean? Just like how you do it with, once again, well, what happened in 1989 and what happened in 1990? What happened before 1991? Skip. What happened before 1991? You just try to take certain moments of Michael Jordan's pretty much perfect career, and you try to blow it up to make it seem like it was worse than what it was. You know, when the fact of the reality is, Michael Jordan wasn't in his prime, nor was his teammates, nor was Scottie Pippen, nor was Horace Grant. You understand? So what are we talking about here?
He's not just some guy in the 8th grade. He's LeBron James.
I'm saying, Skip.
You have proclaimed him the GOAT.
Skip,
you have proclaimed him. You say he's the best player on the planet and the GOAT.
I say
and half of Twitter is saying, you're out of your mind. There's too much on here.
I'm saying what you do is you nitpick to try to minimize his greatness.
These are mountain-sized nits that I'm picking.
18 years, 10 finals. Mm-hmm. 4 finals MVP.
Yeah, he's all-time great. There's no doubt about that.
But you've never done this to any other all-time great player nitpick like this.
Well, I have to.
Why not? No, you have. Name one. Name one all-time great player you nitpick like LeBron James.
Well, he's not that all-time great. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Skip Bayless, that's the thing. Skip Bayless clearly, with certain things, he clearly is a hater when it comes on LeBron James, and he'll even admit it. You know who says shit like that? Come on, Skip. Like, come on, bro. Like, I hear you, but then again, no.
Are these things not? That's laughable. That's laughable.
Are these not facts that I just spat at you?
For you to say
you
LeBron,
just sweep them all under your carpet.
For you to say LeBron James is not all-time great is laughable. That is the most ridiculous thing that you say.
Well, he's not that all-time. He's not the GOAT. He's not even in the class.
No, you said he was. No. Don't change it now. You said he wasn't all-time great.
Well, he's not better than Kobe, and he's definitely not even.
No, he's definitely greater than Kobe Bryant. That's just ridiculous. All right, LeBron James is greater than, most people in the top 10. He's definitely top 10. If, depending on where you have LeBron James in the top 10, I wouldn't even disagree with you. But when you have LeBron James in your top 3 and top 5, that's where I kind of, anywhere outside of the top 5, I wouldn't argue where you would have LeBron James.
In the same stratosphere with Michael Jordan. Well, he's just not. Everybody knows that. That's why this causes such a stir on Twitter.
But the thing is, for you to say he's not in the same stratosphere as Michael Jordan, when LeBron James retires, he's going to be able to sit at that table, that proverbial table with Michael Jordan and those all-time greats. All right, he'll be able to sit closer to Michael Jordan than Kobe Bryant when it's all said and done. You know, especially as a basketball player, he's accomplished more than Kobe Bryant. All right, especially on his own, being the leader of certain teams, of all of his teams. So you just got to get that to him.
No, everybody does not know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just facts.
Because-
I can just keep going and going.
No, that's not just facts. Stop.
Because here's the facts. The facts is that you disregard everything. Now, see, when I say LeBron James has won MVPs and won Finals MVPs, you said this. But I'm just trying to figure how do you differentiate? If one guy is undefeated in Super Bowls, you say that doesn't matter because the other guy has been to more. See, Tom Brady's the GOAT because he's 7-3, not Joe Montana that's 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jordan is the GOAT because he's 6-0, not because LeBron has gone to 10. I'm just trying to figure out how do you differentiate? I thought losses count.
Okay?
Do they or do they not?
Okay, well, you have to evaluate even the victories. Because last year they go to the bubble, and nobody wants to be in the bubble except LeBron and the Lakers.
So why did they go?
So many teams wanted to go home.
So why did they go? Why?
And they wind up playing.
Now, Skip Bayless does make a valuable point right there because it just came out that Giannis Antetokounmpo also said that, last year you got to give credit to the Bucks and everything, but he said that he feels like everybody, when it came to the bubble, nobody even on the Bucks wanted to be there. Everybody was homesick. Nobody had that on their mentality. Everybody was thinking about their family and going back home. So that's a very good point. When we look at the annals of time, we're gonna look back at that championship as a Mickey Mouse championship. The Mickey Mouse tournament. You understand? So that's a good point, Skip.
In the fifth seed for the championship.
Again.
And the fifth seed has lost its leading playoff scorer in Dragic, and it loses in game one, its heart and soul and Bam. And you're over there gloating about, we got this. And I'm saying, well, that's cubic zirconia.
Everything that LeBron does, you try to find a way to minimize it.
It's big facts.
He won his first title. You said it was a strike-shortened season. But Tim Duncan won his first one in a strike-shortened season. And you never mentioned it.
I've said it 1,000 times on this show. I'd be the first to say it. It was.
So, y'all see what we got here. We see, Shannon Sharp being over emotional as always. We'll follow this up, man. If y'all got anything else that y'all want to send to me, once again, shout out to my little cousin Soldier, bro. So if y'all got anything that y'all want to see, sports related, anything you review, man, go ahead and send it through. That's all we got for here, man. I'm out. Peace.